Welcome welcome all to yet another episode here on your favorite channel, Galaxy Universal Network. The show is Sankofa, your host MAPONGA J. With me in studio today, I'm sitting with a young man called THAPELO MOSOKOANI. There are 2 or 3 types of people that you find on the face of the earth. The first group of people are those who will never go to prison because they've purposed in their hearts that they will not get themselves involved in any criminal activities. The second group of people are those who are doing stuff that is taking them to prison. And the third group of people are those that are coming out of prison. So never laugh at anyone in terms of where life has placed them, because either the activities that you are doing will lead you there, or you need to make a decision not to cross the legal instruments that will result with you in prison. Today, I'm sitting with a young man who has written a book, THAPELO, has written a book entitled From Prison to Pulpit. I would want to engage him and find out exactly what was his life story and what is his life story. Where is he coming from? Where is he now? And where is he going? Welcome to the show, THAPELO.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. And I'm so happy to be part and parcel of coming to share my life journey, my life story. But to begin off, I will say something that I've watched, and it's quite interesting. You love to say welcome one, welcome all, discussing African politics and pharmaceutical things and so on. To begin with, Mtate MAPONGA, my story is quite emotional. It is one of those stories I believe that it has to be heard by a global audience, so that someone, when he looks inside of my life, might draw inspiration and lessons, because I believe today it might not just be a blessing to someone. I'm a lesson, you know. You can either be a blessing or a lesson. You choose. You have to make that decision. And to begin off, I will say that testimonies are only as good as one have actually seen God demonstrating his intervening abilities in one's life. So I am so happy to be part and parcel of Sankofa, sharing my experience.
Wow, welcome. And I see your book is quite interesting. We want to run as fast as we can so that we can draw a lot of information from you. And you'll be addressing yourself to parents and see how parents can assist children to make the right decisions. You'll be addressing yourself to the churches, how the churches are responding and dealing with people that are on their way to prison and those that are coming from prison. You'll be addressing yourself to the community and see how the communities actually are dealing with the stereotypes, because every child who is coming from prison is actually a product of the same community that is now having a problem with them coming back. And ultimately, you'll be addressing yourself to yourself as to the mistakes that you've made in the past. How best can you avoid going back on that routine again? So let's start right at the beginning. And I think the beginning of your book starts off by discussing your childhood and the absent father who was in your life and how that affected you in terms of your infant and child development.
Yeah, to begin off, I was born in 1991, and I was born in Tembisa Hospital. At home, we were 5. So I'm the third to be born. I have 2 brothers up front and I have 2 sisters behind me. You know, when I was born, we were living in Mtambega. It's a place called Mtambega in Tembisa. And upon my arrival in the stage of action, when I arrive on earth, I arrive on earth to a family that was dysfunctional, was incomplete, because my dad was not there. Because I grew up without...
Where was he?
By that time, even to this day, I cannot tell where is my dad. But going back to my childhood experience, I was born to a parent whom I regard as a stalwart, because she stood the test of time alone, raising 5 children without nothing. And to speed off, 1997, we were renting, you know, we were moving from one room to another. We never had a shelter of our own, a house, a stand, whatsoever that you may think. So 1997, my mother could not pay the rent. So we were evicted with an immediate effect. We were told to leave and we became homeless. That's my childhood experience. I recall back then we used to sleep in the unfinished RDP houses. Those they were building in those times. And one time I remember I was just 7 years old and I was starting school, doing grade 1 in Mudiopo Primary School. It was so painful to sleep in a house that has no windows, has no roof. It just have the walls that were, you know, coming up. And it was just a painful experience. We will ask our mother during the night times to say, Mom, why us? Why are we here? Why are we living this life? But I think some of the questions that we were asking, they were quite heavy to her, because even her, she was going through a lot. In fact, to even add to this, and I know it might be quite emotional, I always say, and I even say it in other platforms to say, I think even myself, I contributed to the death of my mother because of the actions that I took later on as life progressed, and you find yourself in this predicament. You don't know even why you are here, why you are born, why these things are happening. So in 1998, we were attending ZCC Church. That's where I was brought. I was brought and bred in ZCC Church. So there was a lady who said to us, if we can go to Ivory Park in Tembisa, if we can go to Ivory Park, there's some squatter camp there. We can just lay our case to the table, talk to the community. Perhaps they might actually give us a place to stay. Of which we did. We went. I remember we ate to this lady, and you know, it's just an uphill road, and we went there. Upon our arrival, we talked with those committee, the chairperson leaders of the community, and fortunately enough, we were given a shack. There was an empty shack there. That's where life began, in Ivory Park. And I recall there I was 8 years old. That's when life began.
Wow, quite a moving story. How old is your brother, the firstborn?
The firstborn now, it's 1983, I think.
83.
He's 37 or 36, somewhere there.
37.
Then my second brother, he's 31, 32. Then me, then my sisters behind me. Yes.
All right. So, and when did your mother pass away?
2016.
2016.
Yes.
What lessons did you pick? What friendships did you pick up when you were in Ivory Park? And how did that begin to shape your infant outlook of life, and how are you doing in school, and what kind of community is Ivory Park?
I want to say this, that Ivory Park, it's a known township like any other townships for rascality. It's known for promiscuity. It's known for drug abuse. It's known for criminal activities. And because those things are actually done because of the environment in which we find ourselves. I recall back then, maybe I want to put it out there so that they can understand. No child that is born decide to say, Mina Mankula, I want to be a robber. I want to be a thug. I want to be a rapist. It doesn't happen that way. Each and every child growing up, we had aspirations, we had ambitions. To begin with, I wanted to play soccer. And I played soccer in actual fact. I used to play, I even went to School of Excellence. School of Excellence, it's where the guy by the name of Stephen Pinar, he grew up in Westbury. He went even to England to play for Everton FC. I used to play soccer, and I was so skillful in playing soccer. But then the things at home were not going well. Poverty, it's one of the things that actually contributed to my mischief. Because at home, my mom, you know, she was working as a kitchen girl, bringing those leftovers for us. She was trying the best of her ability as much as she could, but actually, or unfortunately, those things were not enough for us so that we can manage life. I recall back then, I mingled with those good boys, you know, those who are doing well, who are attending school. But upon mixing with them, one of the things that I find out is that my life and their life was different. Because now I'm coming from a background where I don't even know where the meal will come from, where clothes or shoes will come from. And sitting with them, they were talking about their luxuries and everything, how they are doing well at home. In fact, they were staying across the street. Mind you, across the street was the house, electricity. This side is the shack, no electricity,
Dark city.
no TV, no nothing. So I could not identify nor relate to their circle. So I had to find those who relate to my situation, those who are in my situation. And when we mingle, of course, we can, comfort each other with our circumstances. But we needed what I call coping mechanism. That's what the psychologists will call the substance abuse. And I didn't start with, the nyaope, the big things. I started off with, we call it, I don't know in English, but those things that you find in the bush before you even graduate to cigarette. That's where I started off. But those things, we were just playing, wasting time. Then we decided to start smoking cigarette. Now from cigarette, it's not enough. Because now cigarette, you just smoke, there's nothing is happening to you. You need to escalate to something else. We moved from cigarette, we went to dagga. Now dagga was not enough again. We went now, and by that time, nyaope was not known, but it was there. We escalated to nyaope. Now, mind you, nyaope is a deadly, dangerous drug. That I don't know, those who are producing it, they must be the greatest, the devils of all time. Because that drug, it's so dangerous that we even lost our sense of who we are. In a sense that, but it helped us in a way to take us out of reality.
But where were you getting the money to buy these drugs?
Of course, once you are in a habit, you need to go and commit crime. But now, remember, we are starting. I didn't start off by doing crime outside. I started at home. Things started to disappear at home. Even my clothes. Those things my mother will bring for us from Abelungu in the suburb. Those things I started selling them. But you end up finding out that now things are finished and clean. You finish things off now. You have to go outside. Now, outside, when somebody put his takes, you just take them. You don't care. And abantu bayakshaya, you get beaten and so forth. You just escalate. We end up ambushing abantwana besikolo. One of my friends, he went to prison first. The prison, the real prison. He came back and he was punished.
Why did he go to prison?
For armed robbery.
Armed robbery?
Yes, for armed robbery with a knife. So they gave him a punishment to go and clean the police station. Now, while he was cleaning in the police station, he stole a gun.
In the police station?
In the police station. He brought the gun. One day we were just sitting there and boom, a police gun. And that's where the mischief started. We started now, when you have a gun, you can do whatever you want at any time, wherever you want. So we started taking this gun, terrorizing the community. And I don't know, is it God's grace or what? We never got arrested for that gun. Unfortunately, we were
What kind of crimes were you committing with that gun now?
We were doing armed robberies in most cases.
Walk into shops and...
Yeah. All those Somalian shops. We find you, maybe you come to check your girlfriend outside, you are parking with a car. We just knock on your window, we take the gadgets, and we even take your car keys so that you don't follow us, and we tell you where you will find your car keys. We just throw them there so that we can disappear out of sight. Yeah, that's how my life started as in the childhood experience. It was so painful, but what pushed me in those corners, I just have to mention that it's the question that I was asking as a growing lad. Mom, where's Dad? Maybe I need to make that digression into the dead side to address this issue of death, because I believe, like today, I'm a father. I have one daughter, and each and every morning when I look at that daughter, I am reminded of what my father did. Because some people I have heard even in social medias making statements like, THAPELO, you are justifying your crime because you had choice. Of course, I did have a choice. Those things
you did not have guidance.
Yeah, I didn't have a guidance.
Discipline at home.
A discipline. That thing, it's not in and of itself. It's not the root cause. Those things, they contributed because the environment in which I'm brought. There's drugs. Next door, they were selling nyaope and cats and cocaines just next door. And nobody became anything in Ivory Park that I know became anything. We know that you went to school, grade 11, grade 10, you drop out, you are back, you are doing crime, you are wearing those expensive clothes, as they call themselves, Taliana, and all that. But I want to be specific to mention this, even calling out fathers. Because I believe, Gutitina, as men, we are quick to take the pants down of a woman. We are quick to go out there, and you can have many girlfriends as much as you want, but when the result emerges, we are nowhere to be found. So for me, this, in fact, it's something that I know, even if my dad didn't have money, but I wanted that, that masculine voice and presence and guidance. For me, this thing, it's one of the things that I believe that it broke me down, because I didn't know why my dad would leave me in my infancy stage. I didn't know, was I ugly? What happened to me? Did he like me? And I was asking myself those questions. But for all men out there, I will call out to say that regardless of the complexity and the complications of the relationship in which you find yourself with your significant other, make sure that you be in the presence of your child, because a home is that which produces the community produces a nation the global world that in which we are finding ourselves. Unless a home has a father and mother, it's incomplete and dysfunctional. This is where I'm coming from. And the mischief and the misconduct I find myself in was for the reason that my father was not there.
Okay. Quite interesting, quite interesting. When you take gadgets and you steal and cars and etc. and you make some money, what would you use the money for?
For stupid things, Ntate MAPONGA, to be honest with you, because now, remember, we are no longer doing those things, those criminal activities, for survival, for food. We are under the addiction.
Now you can eat. Now you can eat, you can buy food, you can afford.
We were doing crime to satisfy our habit. Remember, I don't know how.
So you'd rob a car, get the phones, go sell the phones,
and sell the phones,
and then buy the drugs.
The drugs, because the drugs. Remember, I just want to put it out there so that maybe people can understand. The drug is a coping mechanism. Now we find reality to be against us. Life is tough. It's calling us to endurance and patience, and we don't have the capacity.
Take a short lift.
So we want the drug. It takes you out. It numbs the pain.
You disappear for some hours.
You disappear. You are in that fancy world, and you come back.
What do you see when you get there? What happens there?
when you get
this
there,
world, when you are high with drugs, what's happening there? What are you seeing?
There's nothing you see in Tate MAPONGA. When you are high, the only thing that you are thinking of is the next smoke. How to make the money. In fact, while we're busy smoking, we are planning the next crime. To say, oh, I saw someone there, that white person living there, we need to go and pray. When we are smoking, we are just planning the next crime. After smoking, we need to go, because you need to have money to satisfy especially that drug called Nyaope. It's so dangerous.
So you went through the Nyaope drug?
I went through the Nyaope.
How many years was that?
For me, I think, let me see, because I started 2008, no, 2007. I started 2007 and until 2010 when I was arrested for this crime. Okay.
Finally, as you are doing your crime in and out of people's houses and shops and robbing and gunning people and stuff like that, and what is the worst crime that you did during this time that you would regret for? During your moments of the Nyaope,
yeah, there are so many to be counted in Tate MAPONGA, because sometimes I will walk with friends, and some of the friends, they were having this nerve more than I have, and they will shoot people, and you don't know whether you're leaving them dead or what.
And you are there.
And you are there. You are involved. You are part and parcel. Because I don't want to make myself as if I was holier or better, but I used to calm the guys down to say, guys, come on, no, we are here for money. Don't torture, don't. And my friends, they will tell me, no. As long as we are not here to play. We want our things. And maybe let me put it this way, taking back to my childhood again. Those guys, they are cheese boys. Those who are emerging from a taken family.
Soft life.
Yeah, so we thought they owe us. just because of they are living that life, and you know, we never had that type of life. So we will rob them, hurt them, just for the sake of hurting them. So that because we think, when you are just having it easy, and we are having it difficult. So we
just
thought,
trying to pop up them a bit.
Yeah, and I awaken them in that state. But for me, all the crimes I will regard, because each and every crime it leaves a trauma.
Of human right, yeah.
You know, it leaves a trauma to someone. So each and every crime, whether it was with a knife, with a hand, with a brick, with a bottle, with a gun, it was horrible in that sense.
What crime finally got you into the hands of the law, and you saw a transition in your life?
No.
What happened the day you were finally your actions finally caught up with you? What were you doing? What had you done?
Now I can call myself I was a tactician as young as I was. Remember, I just want to deal again with the childhood, because now it gives birth to the prison side. Now, we were beaten 3-4 times by the mob justice.
You were beaten?
Yeah, beaten like people thought we were dead. And fortunately enough, I think God again intervened, because my mom was a stalwart in the ANC, those people in the bottom in the community. He joined, you know, she was fighting, etc. Then there was a man who was close to the council who came when we were beaten. So when he was passing, he noticed me, said, I know this young man, and I know her mother. So he stopped the community.
From finishing you off? For
finishing off, he called the police. He said, no, they did something wrong, subject them to the police. He called the police. And 4 times, sometimes we were beaten and thrown in the bush. People, they will think we died, because sometimes I love to play dead when I was beaten. You know, I will play dead, and yeah, they came, and we will wake up after 2 days, or people will find us, we will go to the hospital. Then I was tired, because I realized that Lokshini, you will die. Because people there, they will kill you for DVT, for something stupid.
Small little DVT.
Small. So I decided to say, now I need to see how do I graduate from doing that type of crime. So I moved from the location. I went to Beshley. You know, I started in Beshley, Kipton Park. You know, we were going there, we will rob white young kids' cell phones. That's where we started. Then we started doing house break-ins. You know, we will come, and I was called a scout because I'm very good in observation. You know, I will observe, I will mark what time you leave in your house, what time you come back, how many people are living in the house, and where is your kids going to school. I will, before I go to the big guys and say, guys, no, this is...
That's why they called you a technician.
Yeah, so I was good in investigation in terms of... And I will come and say, guys, this person, I think, I don't know, but he looks like a businessman. Because around 8 o'clock, he will leave to drop his kids to school, but he will come back and spend most of the time in the yard. But the wife is not there. He's alone, and the guys will form how, and I will tell them, I was in the yard, I did jump the wall, I was in the yard, I looked, there's no dog,
there's dogs, what?
Yeah, I will...
Few cameras, the razor wire, there's this and that.
And this and that, and I will explain to them, and I will come back to them. And yeah, well, I survived many house breakings, and I remember one time, and I need to say this, I think my life, you know, it's quite a mystery. Even today, I look back with...
So to jump in someone's yard, they would have shot you or something?
No, there was a time, this is what I want to share. There was a time that I was nearly shot 7 times. I don't know how that bullets missed me. I can't explain that to you, because
the man was shooting.
He was shooting because once I jumped off, I just heard a pah, pah. In fact, I thought it was the cricket. I didn't understand. I went the wall. I ran and never looked back. And yeah, so that's how it happened, Tate MAPONGA. But like I said, my life is just a mystery. I can't even explain some of the things, because they are shocking to this day to me.
When you look back, you wonder how you went through that.
How I went through that. But again, like I said, those things, they were birthed by the angry. I was angry, Tate MAPONGA. I need to mention this. I was angry, I was aggressive. At the age of 12 years, I was fighting teachers. You know, I was slapped a teacher, a mother to me, because they could not see that I was dying. In fact, today when I go to those schools, when I see someone who's acting like I was acting back then, I always tell the teachers to say, that person needs more attention than
Hold it right there. When we come back, we'll hear how THAPELO moved from Ivory Park and change the address to the concrete walls. That is prison. We'll be back right after the break.
Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib?
But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot! Please don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
So from the theater stage to the kitchen.
I'm anxiously awaiting to see Sanaya.
What else is this if not love?
Make massive moves with Starsat.
With me in studio today, we are sitting with THAPELO, the author of the book From Prison to Pulpit, and is relating his story of how he actually changed his life around from misfortune to a sober young man, a responsible citizen in the country. How did you end up in prison?
Yeah,
Which crime did you commit that took you to prison?
Now, because like I said, I was walking in a fast lane. In fact, I was marching with the speed of lightning. Now I was coming to Johannesburg, Hillbrow. That's when I was buying drugs, and now it was not only Nyaope, now it was also crack. So it's crack, it's now. So I recall there was a spot where I was sitting. Every time when I finished buying my drugs, I would sit in that spot. And as I was busy smoking, there were other guys, you know, Zulu guys who will come. And as we're smoking, we will brag, hey, when this is the crime you're doing. Oh, yeah, you're specializing in robbery. I specializing in this. And
sharing some notes.
Yeah, sharing and exchanging. Then I told them to say, guys, you know, there's someone I want us to deal with. He's staying in Parkview, you know, next to Zulek. Next, you know, when you know Zulek, Johannesburg Zoo, there's Zulek. Next to Zulek, it's a big house. Then I said, no, I did a very good scouting and everything's fine. And then we went there. Upon our arrival, I told the guys to say, guys, with the experience I had with the suburb, you don't ring a gun. You don't pull a trigger in the suburb. Because once a noise of a gun goes out,
the whole suburb is up.
It's up. The police must respond. It's either a husband kill his wife or a wife kill his husband, but something is wrong.
Or there's a thief in the yard.
There's a thief. They need to. So I told them there's no gun that will be firing and all that, and we don't kill. We don't rape. The only two, we just torture you for a minute. We need what we need. We need you to open the safe. We need the gadgets. We need the jewelry.
We need the money.
We need the money, and we leave. Okay, we arrive. I just want to run quickly so that to cut the story short. We arrive there and we jump the wall, fine, and only to find out the back door was open, even the butler. So I went through, because I told them to say I was very thin because of drugs and all that. So I managed to squeeze myself into a window. While I squeezed myself, the other accomplice, they went to the other side. They went through the door that was open. And when I say, hey, guys, how possible you are? It is, and we just went through. And, you know, it's a big house. They went upstairs. 3 of my friends. One went to the room, because maybe to put this out, when we're doing this crime, when we enter the house, each and everyone we rush to get into the bedrooms, because that's where the jewelry is. And if I find a ring, a diamond, I might hide it to other guys and I will just sell it alone.
By myself.
Yeah, so that's how we were operating. So everybody is rushing. So they went upstairs.
And the owners of the house?
The owners, it was upstairs. The man, there was no one, there was just this guy upstairs, who the father of the house and so on.
Black or white?
Black, not black, white. He was driving a Land Rover Discovery 4. I still remember vividly. So up there, the guy, you know those guys, I don't know where I get those guys, because I believe that they are not using their mind. That's why I realized they stabbed that guy 24 holes up there.
They stabbed him?
They stabbed this guy. So when I went upstairs to investigate, because I heard the screaming here and there, then there was blood, you know, pool of blood. And now you're realizing this is not a movie. This is reality. This is happening. So I went downstairs and said, no. Here, But you just tell yourself to say, "Seguyafana manje." Whatever happens.
Let's take what we must take and run away.
So while I was busy, I heard, a sound of a car stopping. Chee, chee. When I looked through the window, I saw the 24/7, the arm response. They're here. I don't know. Maybe someone might have seen us when we were jumping the hall, and I don't know. So I didn't tell my friends what's happening. I just took a wallet. It has 2,000 rand. That's the thing that got me into prison. That wallet. I took the wallet. I went back door, I jumped over the wall. There was a garden boy who was cleaning. So when he comes this side, I will move with the flowers. When he comes this side, I will move this side until I find a way to jump on the other side of the house. So in the suburb, there's a rule again. You can't be running like you are in a township because there's some C-chaps, there's some ADTs, they are going up and down. So you need to
be
steady and nothing is happening.
Nothing has happened.
So I was just walking and telling myself,
I've survived.
I heard that 2 of my friends were gunned down.
In the house?
In the house. They were killed. 2 were found. Lucky enough, they were found when the cops, so they were not shot. And they told those guys to say, no, as Pelelang, someone who brought us here. Then the car went out to go and search. So for me, I was not running. I told myself whatever. But I was foolish enough, I should have dropped the wallet. But the way I didn't want to even show, because when you just walking, you see the C-chap. So you just want to make as if you are here looking for getting jobs and all that.
It was in the day or in the night?
During the day.
You robbed in the day?
Yeah, because in the day, no one is, the suburb is quiet.
People are at
work, people are at school, so it's quiet. That's the good time. At night, you can't survive because, of course, the armed response will follow you when you see where are you going to end and so forth. So yeah, we were arrested and charged with armed robbery.
So your friends actually pimped on you?
Yeah, they point me. The car came. The Ford Focus, white police. They stopped. Guns, I slept down and I was tied with the cable tires put in the car. So when I entered the car, then I was asking, what's happening? They say, hey. I say, I don't know these people. I don't know them. I'm from Tembisa. They are from Soweto. I don't know these people. So they asking, where are you from? I'm staying in Tembisa in Ivory Park. They say, hey, when I say, I don't know. So the thing that got me arrested is that I have the deceased man of the wallet of the deceased
with
man.
His IDs and everything.
Everything. They said, and that my case, it was very complicated because I was not sentenced to 15 years in prison. I was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The way it was complicated at court. But I had a pending case of which I ran away from in Boksburg for robbery. Though the cops came because the fingerprints will catch up.
We're looking for you.
They say come, and I went to court. Of course, I didn't want to waste time because I just gave up in life. So I consented and I pleaded guilty to the charges in Boksburg. Again, I got 10 years. Now 10 plus 5, it says 15 years. That's when I went to maximum in Boksburg prison.
Wow. 15 years in prison. So how is prison life?
Now, prison life in MAPONGA.
Which unit were you in? 26, 27, or 28?
Yeah, I just want to make a...
Move quickly, we don't have lots of time.
Yeah, I just want to build a case. Prison, it's another world. And each and every dog hustle for its bone in prison. And in prison, there are gangs and camps. And you need to understand, within the gangs and camps, those gangsterism, it's used for survival. Because when you belonging to that certain camp, you
look after each other.
You are protected. So when I entered, remember, I took, because I was in and out of prison most of the time. So I was already part of
the gang.
But when I arrived in prison, I hide. I didn't want to show, because now you are in maximum. You've never been there.
First time.
You see other people are doing life sentence, triple life sentence, and we are young. We are in a juvenile section. We are just crazy. I said, no, let me just hold up a bit and see the environment. So when I was bathing, someone noticed a tattoo. I have it here, a 26 tattoo. And the guy looked at me, and he went and tell other guys to say, hey, we have our brother here, and he has been hiding. Then, they made a circle and I was called to say, daughter, come. Why are you hiding? So they, the philosophy or the lingo, the jargon of the gangsterism,
Give us some few.
You will say like, "Wash," it's type of greeting.
Wash.
Yeah, wash. We know, Guti, I'm greeting you. When you are 26, you will have to respond with wash.
Take us through.
You know that, MAPONGA. So that's how it has to work. They came, wash, who's you? There's the number, and they ask each and everything.
So their philosophies, actually, these gangsters
there is a philosophy, and you have to master the way you were taught that philosophy. Because if you don't know it, you can get even some claps right here. There's the general. It's like the corps,
military thing.
Military thing. There's corps, there's everything, and so forth. So discipline. And so they realized to say, this guy,
he knows his story.
He can, I spoke as much as I could. Then they said to me, yes. But why were you hiding? Because of your hiding, there's a punishment for you. So the general, who we regard as a general in the camp, brought a lock in a sock. He says, Mfetu, you go to the field. Now the field, it's where each and everybody is sitting during exercise. Imagine that, MAPONGA, I'm going to step someone who didn't...
Step?
Yeah, he didn't do me anything. That's part of...
Initiation.
Not initiation. Even initiation works like that. But the punishment says I need to spill a blood. Because if I don't do that, I might end up becoming a woman. Because now they will move you into a feminine inside. Those who have this feminine pulchritude.
You become a wife in the
So I have to show that I have that manhood.
I'm not interested in being a woman.
I'm not. So I took the lock, I hit someone, and the wardens arrived. I was beaten, taken to the Kudugutus, which is the single cells. Then I came back. But now, MAPONGA, like again, I want you to see this thing again. It's reoccurring. The same thing that happened outside, I was used outside. I was used by, big people. I was told that I have the nerve, I have the boldness, I can make things happen, I'm clever, I'm intelligent, but in the crime, not in the right things. In prison again, in the camp of gangsterism, I'm being used. Every time when someone is stabbed, my name must come up. Where's THAPELO? I have to account, did I send someone? Because after stepping, I went up in the ranking of the gangsterism. So now I can command to say, you go there, you do this. So every time when there's a stepping, especially from the 26 camp, I have to be called. And every time I will be beaten. Then there came what I call the turning point, where I was really...
Just before you get the turning point, how do people make money in prison? What is the currency of prison? What role does cigarettes play in prison, and how do people smuggle things into the prison environment?
I want to say this. I know it might not be right, but even wardens play a role.
Wardens?
Yeah. Play a role in bringing things, because there's no place that has money like prison. You find someone sleeping with 50,000 without knowing, because of there's drugs, there's money, there's stuff.
They run their business from behind prison.
Yeah,
and then the wardens help them to bring it.
There's a warden who actually has a business in prison, but it's run by prisoners. So because prisoners, they benefit. They can actually go through their sentence without even feeling pain, because everything is there. When you have those smoking things, dacha and all that.
You can have your TV, you can have your...
You can access anything. You might not even eat prison food, which
Kentucky's and Nando's.
The cops, they will go and buy and make as if they just left for you, but we can see what is happening. So I believe that it's one of the corruptions that is there. But money,
the system is corrupt.
The system,
the prison system is corrupt.
Not the entire system. We need to be.
But there's a virus in the system.
There's a virus. There are few in the system who are corrupt, because there are few. I remember there was a cop who was arrested in front of us. Live, they caught him right-handed giving a prisoner drugs. And he was caught by another cop. Imagine, a warden is arresting a warden in prison. It was...
And he joined.
And they were handcuffing him coming out of the section, and we were all laughing to say, hey, look at the warden, hey, come, we are waiting for you here. You used to look for us, now we are waiting for you.
We'll be looking for you now.
We will be looking for you. So yeah, I think part of the system, not merely the system, but part of the wardens who have their own agenda, they are the one who bring the virus into the system.
Okay, let's move. I think we move a bit further. The turning point.
Now, the turning point, my mother was sick outside, sick to the point of death. Now, you start asking yourself, every time I will wake up.
They phoned you, they wrote a letter, or you got a message?
No, I phoned. Every time I will go to the phone. In fact, there are even cell phones in prison.
People have cell phones.
Smuggle, again. So you will ask someone who seemingly is big, has visit and everything. Hey, Mfetu, and I'll make a call. I'll talk to my sisters. Because remember, I was doing 15 years in prison. My second brother, the
Behind
one
you, before you?
before me, was doing 15 years.
He was also arrested?
He was doing 15 years. In fact, he was released last year after lockdown, April. He spent 7 years in prison. My own brother. So he's doing 15 years in prison.
Same prison?
Not same prison.
Different prison?
He's in Pretoria, in Bavianspoort.
Okay.
I'm in local prison.
Okay.
Now, my other brother, I think he joined this Illuminati things. He wanted to be rich. He wanted to kill my mother because of they told him that if you kill your mother, they always point to someone that is dear and near to you so that you can be rich. So if you fail to do that, they backfire. He was a bit insane, the firstborn. And my sisters, they were not one looking after them because my mother was sick at that point. And it broke me down because now I'm angry. My bones, I felt like they were breaking because of the donkey beer. Every time I will be beaten by that thing that the wardens, use in prison. And I was really tired, very tired of that type of life. Now I started asking myself questions to say, why am I here? And what is the meaning of life? What is the direction? Why was I born? Then I was defeated. Twice I tried to commit suicide.
In prison?
In prison. I stole someone's medication, overdosed, I was taken to the hospital, outside hospital, not the prison hospital, the very outside bed, and I was chained, sleeping in the outside hospital bed. And now you came back, you failed committing suicide, and you are coming again to this